The Brook Cherith Medical Mission Center Rapture Library Update. My name is Daniel Valles and welcome to our channel. Greetings from the Brook Cherith, friends. It is a beautiful sunny spring day out here today, and we are at this spot where, Lord willing, the Rapture Library is going to be parked. And today we're going to head on out. We're going to look at a couple trailers that may potentially work for the Rapture Library, at least give us a sense of the size and the feel for them, what options and other considerations we need to consider with the logistics and everything. So today we're actually going to get our first look at some potential trailers that will go right here. So let's hop in the truck and let's go for a ride. They got total of three, two movers over there and this one over here. They're pretty much all the same. Pretty much all the same. But again, you don't realize how big it is until you walk up to it. And it is huge. It is absolutely huge. Take a look at that. Lord willing. You don't realize how big these are till you're walking around in it. It is huge. It's like walking around in a house. It is. This would provide a lot of room, and the step up is actually not that much at all. You almost don't need a step, but that would definitely help some people. But wow, yeah, you could fit a whole reading room right up in here, and there's plenty of room. This floor is beautiful. It's already polished. It's like a bowling alley. It's beautiful. Might just need to buff it and maybe a thin coat of poly to freshen it up, but you can see how much room there is, and just walking around, it's gonna be a full-size library just by itself, walking around. I thought I got exhausted walking through the 30-foot laundry trailer when we were renovating that and making the laundry trailer, but this you could easily get wore out walking 53 feet back and forth, installing different things, and just there is a lot of potential here, a lot of potential. And this particular brand of moving trailer it's built like a tank. The quality, this is in pristine condition. This is really good condition. It's a 2007, but it's really good condition. And they actually have two more same make and model, just slightly different years. I think a 2006 and a little bit earlier than that. Similar price ranges, but the same similar floor in all of them. A lot of potential. These walls are 10 feet high. Yeah, I cannot reach up that high. They are huge. They are huge. Again, by the time you get all the exhibits in here, it's still going to feel extremely roomy. You don't realize how big these things are until you actually come inside one of them. It's like, wow. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you something I found over here. When I was looking through it, somebody had placed a little stick cross in here. I don't know if it's people selling it or what, but a lot of potential. Here's a picture to give you a sense of the scale of how large this trailer is. Again, the walls are 10 feet high on the inside, so there is plenty of room, and you can see how easily you could have 3 people abreast walking down the center of this, even with exhibits on either side and posters and even a fence railing down there as well. There's going to be plenty of comfortable elbow room and room to see the exhibits and also move around as well. Lord willing indeed, and this is our prayer as we go forward in faith and action on what the Lord is working, what He has put on our heart for this very important prophetic time, and also the very important need that will be very present right within the first few days and hours right after the rapture, right as soon as the tribulation starts. For those who are new to our channel and those who have been here for a while too, make sure you review our PDF Operation Burning Lamp that goes into a lot of the details of this large project that we've been working on, why we're even building a Rapture Library. You can find a link in the description box. I do need to update the PDF, but it does give you a great overview of the mission and the goals that we are working on with the Rapture Library and how that fits into our larger mission, what our Father is working here at this late prophetic hour. He has not just been showing us the prophetic time and information about the time, but also showing us a need and the present opportunity to meet that need right here at the threshold of the start of prophetic events. Also, definitely make sure you check out rapturelibrary.com. A lot more information. I just updated it the other day as well. A lot of posters, a lot of resources, a lot of PDFs, things you can print out. There's a lot of resources that our Father has prepared that you can use in your own embassy. Print them out. Have them ready as well. This mission with the Rapture Library is not just about Shelby, Alabama. It's about getting all sorts of embassies, all sorts of libraries ready for this prophetic hour across the world to reach thousands and thousands of souls, giving them the information that they need at a very prophetic point when they're going to have a very tender heart, but also a lot of questions. And by demonstrating and showing and making available resources at that opportune time, that is also a timely demonstration of how God will be calling to them. How He has prepared resources, how He has prepared various places, how He has prepared so much, demonstrating His love, grace, and mercy at such an important hour, calling specifically to them. Definitely check out the website and ask the Lord how you can use what He has prepared so that you can be a part of reaching those in the days ahead, even after the rapture. Definitely check it out. Also check out our website, informedchristians.com as well. On the rapturelibrary.com, we now have a link to a whole new Spanish Rapture section where we've grouped together all of our Spanish posters, handouts, and PDFs, just having them in a convenient place. And also, because like we talked about in our last video, we are switching and moving all the Spanish material to their own library. There's so much information, we're just going to give them their own space so that they can have plenty of room to reach more people as well, but give them a lot more comfortable space where they could read and digest the material, think on it and pray, and be in an environment that's really customized and tailored for their needs. So definitely check it out. It is incredible how the Lord has prepared so much, how He's brought across our path various fellow servants who have helped translate this material. There is so much that our Father is working at this late hour. We must constantly review and look at what He is doing at this late hour, because it is a sign to us about the lateness of the hour. That there is things we are to do, there are opportunities we could take advantage of. We are told to redeem the time. We are not told specifics, we are just told the general mandate. Redeem the time. Some way, somewhere, somehow. Redeem the time when you know you are running out of time. And then our Father has also showed us incredible opportunities of how we can redeem the time by giving us prepared tools and resources so that we can reach so many and redeem this valuable, important time. So in our last video, we talked about how we've been planning on moving the main library, the English material, into a 57-foot furniture moving trailer. It gives so much room. It really is absolutely perfect for having a mobile library. A lot of elbow room, a lot of space, a lot of sitting and quiet areas as well, counseling areas. It really does provide so much, and the Lord has definitely been working and giving wisdom and liberty toward this. We've already ordered both of the stairs. So that's an incredible step, literally right in the right direction as well. So much is coming together, getting ready for this vessel. Guess what came while I was working on the video? One of the stairs. It is here. This is so cool. These are adjustable stairs too. Some have a deck that's really low, others have one that's about 3 foot, and a normal semi-trailer van is about 4 feet to the deck. So as you can see, these are adjustable, and these are very heavy duty, very heavy duty. Awesome. These are industrial, OSHA approved stairs. They are very, very good. So hopefully we can get a trailer that's low enough where the bottom step's actually sitting on the ground, so somebody only has to go up 3 steps, but we'll see. But this will definitely accommodate the needs of getting them up there. A good step in the right direction, right? Now, since our last video, I've also been planning out how to use a 53-foot trailer for the Spanish library. And we posted these details on our YouTube channel's discussion area. Definitely check that out. There's several posts in there in case you've missed them. But we've been planning on this because for the same cost as buying a car hauler trailer, we could, theoretically, if depending on which model you buy, you can also buy a moving trailer that's much larger and get a lot more space for the money. But it has several other main advantages because it can also work with the English library. And both of these would be parked side by side. About half of the Spanish library would be for the Spanish exhibits and the posters and their sitting area, but also have a little area for a Spanish information desk, because most of the clinic is set up for English-speaking audience and just would really help to have a separate information and reception area for those who primarily speak Spanish. Just give them a point of contact, help line them up with interpreters, ask specific questions about not just the library but also the clinic as well. Just give them a central place where they can be directed and have their questions answered. And I've been looking at the possibility of the forward area being a multi-purpose room, but the Lord has given more wisdom, and we've been planning and working out different ideas and scenarios over the past few days. And the Lord's really given wisdom about the more that we study both of these libraries and how they work together, it really helps cement the ideas and make them more firm. The more we get an idea of how do these work together and how can one help the other. Even though they're intended for different languages, the English library is going to be just jam-packed with all sorts of materials, so that really uses up a lot of room. Whereas the Spanish library is going to have more flexible room available, so that some things that can't fit in the English library can be fitted into the Spanish library. Now, looking at the English library forward section, you'll notice I added a very important feature, and that is a bathroom. And I've definitely thought about this for a while and been trying to squeeze it in. But it's not until the Lord gave us this wisdom about the 57-foot trailer and the additional Spanish library trailer, which can help make up some of the deficiencies in this trailer, that really gave the flexibility to finally squeeze in a bathroom. It's going to be a small bathroom, about the size of a porta potty, about 4 by 5 feet maybe at the most. But by taking out one of the reading sections and actually moving it across the aisle, that freed up enough room to put in a restroom. And the main advantage of a restroom is partly because we want the people to stay there for a while. We want them to read the material. We want them to look at the posters. We want the people to stay. And the longer they can stay, the more they'll review and the more they'll think about the information, what's being presented there. And because the rapture is coming without warning, a lot of people won't have just visited the restroom when they come to the Rapture Library. But especially by the time you go through the posters, you start reading some of the posters, coming in the front door, you're going to be spending easily 15 minutes before you even get halfway through the trailer. And so it won't be long before people have to use the restroom. And ideally, we don't want them to leave, even to go outside to another restroom somewhere else. Because chances are, with all the chaos that's unfolding at that time, and who knows what is appearing up in the sky as a fake alien invasion or something like that, we don't want people to be distracted. We want them to come into the library and stay inside as long as possible so that they can really view and consider all the information that's presented. So the longer we make it convenient and accommodating for them to be there, the longer they will stay, especially to sit down and read a book. There's nothing like sitting down to read a book on the couch and then you have to get back up and have to use the restroom. But by having a little restroom right there, that can really help keep them in and really consider a lot of the information that's being presented. And in a 57-foot trailer, this really doesn't adjust too much. We just have to move one of the reading nooks over a little bit. We really don't lose anything because of this space. We just have to shift a few things around. And this is one advantage of having the Spanish library, because there are some things I could move from the English library and move over there, particularly the storage cabinets for all the extra handouts and all the reference copies that were intended for the pastors. And so the Lord gave wisdom to use the forward section of the Spanish library to also put in the bathroom in that trailer as well, but then use the front section as the reference library and as essentially a pastor's study room. The library where all the reference copies for them are kept, and all the books and pastor's helps that I have that are also going to be set aside for them. They would have been put inside of a wooden cabinet that I was going to put in the English library, but because they're putting a bathroom over there, we needed all that space, so we can move all that stuff over here to where they have a dedicated pastor study, a prayer room really, And this actually helps provide an actual counseling room, a prayer room, where they could sit down and talk and counsel people, pray with them. But then also all the library staff and all the chaplains and those helping in those areas, they could have a dedicated prayer room where they could get together, they could study, they could also talk about the reference materials. There's going to be pastor's helps, concordances, and commentaries, and just different reference books, all here in one location. So by moving it out of the English section and consolidating it here, we actually have another resource room specifically for the pastors, and then the chaplains and all those helping with the counseling. And then again, this is one of the advantages of having a Spanish library, because it makes up and helps augment the English library. And again, the Spanish library right now, we're only planning for a 53-foot trailer because those are a little cheaper than the 57-foot. But even with that size alone, it gives us a whole study room right at the front. Now, of course, it's easy to just say, oh, we'll put a bathroom in this trailer and we'll put a bathroom in that trailer. But I wish it was that easy, but unfortunately that does add to the cost and also the infrastructure that is needed, because that starts getting into water needs, septic needs, and black water needs, and just faucets and plumbing. It will definitely add to the cost, but it does greatly help enable people to stay in the library, consider the material, and actually think and pray and act on it. So it is very, very important and can greatly extend, double, triple the time that people actually stay in the Rapture libraries. But it does add to the cost and does bring up other logistical problems too as well. So we will definitely need your help to make this possible. Lord willing, we're going to go forward planning on the restrooms and then seeking to address the infrastructure logistical needs as well to make that happen, to actually make them work and usable. And so far the Lord has given wisdom about how to address these logistical needs, and that is by building out a smaller enclosed trailer that is basically a library services trailer. And again, with these libraries, we are trying to take up every single square foot of floor space on the inside. So unfortunately, that means there's no space at all inside for a generator box. And because these trailers sit so low to the ground, there's really not a lot of flexibility with what you could mount up underneath, such as holding tanks or even a generator box underneath. There just isn't a room that's really conducive to doing that. So in exchange for getting all the floor space, you still have to move all those services and auxiliary equipment somewhere. And so the Lord said, why don't you just move it to its own dedicated trailer, a trailer that can service both of the libraries. Instead of dealing with two separate generators and two separate pumps and two separate holding tanks and potable water tanks, just have one main generator, one main holding tank, one main pump. Just simplify things on the mechanical and maintenance side of it and just keep them all separate, which also helps keep it very flexible and movable. And so basically just use 250-gallon tote tanks that can be moved around with a pallet jack. Those will hold the black water. The trailer itself will have a generator, pump, a pressure tank, and a 250-gallon tote of clean water. And that will serve both of the trailers for the hand washing and the toilets. And so that could be fitted into a small trailer, any small trailer that could hold a ton and a half of water and equipment. It could be put onto a flatbed trailer, but you still have to enclose the pump somehow, and ideally the generator as well. So an enclosed trailer does make it a whole lot easier. And having a services trailer also makes it easier in the days ahead to hook up other additional equipment, such as outside work lights and other things that can make the whole area more conducive for parking and everything like that, and people walking around at night. So again, with the libraries, we can't put the equipment on the inside, but we do need a bathroom, and so this seems to be the best way to meet the services for the restrooms in the libraries and also power the libraries as well. So Lord willing, over the days ahead, we're going to be working on the libraries and setting aside room for the restrooms, but we're also probably going to be working on a services trailer maybe even before the libraries, making sure we have the infrastructure ready to go so that when the restrooms are built, they are also ready to go as well. So definitely keep this in prayer. There are a lot of logistical considerations. There's a lot of planning that is coming together right now, but you can start to see why it's so complicated on my end. Particularly, we're not just building one trailer. We're building two trailers that have to work together. There's so many parts how they work together, but they augment each other. And again, by having two, it helps so the crowds aren't all bottlenecked up in one area as well. You're not having different languages conflict in one area as well. But it also doubles the number of bathrooms as well. You have two restrooms. So if one area is busy on one side, you could just direct people, hey, check out the restroom in the trailer right over the way there. And it also gives us a dedicated counseling and prayer room a place for the chaplains and counselors to get caught up on the information that they can pass on to others as well. There is so much how these two will work together and augment. The Spanish library will make the English library so much better, and vice versa. They will work together and be able to reach so many people. And again, we've looked at before how the English library itself can easily hold about 44 people. You're looking at being able to reach about 70 people easily, comfortably, at one single time. And then over the hours right after the rapture, having all that many number of people constantly change out, you could be reaching hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people the very first day after the rapture, the very first day of the tribulation. And in an environment that's conducive for them to stay and dwell on the information, consider it, talk with counselors and chaplains, the environment becomes conducive for them to see what God has prepared and what God is trying to show them, and really emphasize that God has prepared this specifically for them, and they are here for a reason, because God is trying to show them something, because He is calling to them for salvation and for service. The Rapture Library is only part of the mission, and this is why you need to check out the PDF Operation Burning Lamp. Review it and see how this fits into the broader picture. We already have the Brook Cherith, a medical mission center, a complete little clinic already. This is not a hospital. It's not functioning right now. I'm not a doctor, but it's prepared for the rapture. And it's not a hospital in the general sense. It's really just a triage center for the mass casualties that are going to happen right as soon as the rapture happens, right as soon as the sun destruction comes with the start of the tribulation. That's really all it can address. It's not really meant for your average general medical situations. It's really only meant to be a triage for the things that are about to unfold as soon as the sun destruction comes. Particularly once the highways become parking lots with all the accidents and all the confusion from the rapture and the accidents that happen and planes falling out of the sky and who knows what else, especially with fake aliens showing up and destruction happening and all that going on. People aren't going to be able to go to the normal hospitals, especially around here. So that's why this triage center was built, to meet the needs of those very first few minutes after the rapture particularly. But it's not intended, and it really can't last for long. Just because of the situation and infrastructure, particularly with the septic needs, it can't handle very large volumes of people. It's just meant for a very short gap time until they can get their head cleared and start setting up an emergency center at a local school or church or something like that. But this is a temporary stopgap measure, and that's really all it can last for. And praise the Lord, He has prepared so much. This has been the largest project of everything we've been working on so far. There are so many different parts and systems with just that little clinic there as well. And in our Operation Burning Lamp PDF, we go into details more about that and the capacity of that as well. But the Lord has prepared so much already. And if you've been with us since 2020 and watched our videos, you've seen how the Lord has prepared even more vehicles. He's prepared the laundry trailer. He's prepared the generator trailer. Everything about what the Lord is preparing is intended to be mobile. It's intended to be moved to a more conducive facility, such as a school or church campus, somewhere in the hours right after the rapture. It's being built to move. That's the way the Lord has organized it all. Because this facility, it's just not conducive for a large amount of people. But it has to be moved. But it is being prepared here, being prepared to launch out very soon. And if you've watched our Brook Cherith videos since last year, you've seen how the Lord has worked incredibly. How our Father has prepared so much in ways that just boggles my mind. He's prepared so much. He's already prepared trailers. And the generator trailer is primarily geared toward powering the laundry trailer. That's where most of its power is going to go, but then also powering the medical side of things. Providing lamps for the medical areas that are set up as well. An equipment trailer that's set up that will serve the libraries, that generator trailer would serve the ministry side of it. The counseling areas, any church fellowship halls where they set up at, and just more the ministry side of it, where this generator trailer serves the medical side of it. So there's, in a sense, going to be two separate services trailers, one for medical, one for ministry, and one for the libraries. But the Lord has prepared so much. These are ready to roll today. That shows us the shortness of time, that the Lord has prepared so much that is ready today. It could be put into use today. There's a lot more that He shows us is still needed to finish out what He started. So we go forward working on what He is showing us, but we know He has already completed so much. So much that is only possible because He gave the strength, He gave the wisdom, and He gave the liberty to make it happen. And we also have our Rapture info kits that are chock full of handouts about the Rapture, gospel tracts, John and Romans. There's so many resources that are intended to go out to different stations in this local area in the minutes and hours after the rapture, and different signs to direct people as well. There's a lot that is ready to go today. The Rapture Library is just building on top of everything that the Lord already has ready to go. The Rapture kits even have banners that they could put on their vehicles and road signs to direct people, hey, come get this information right now. What just happened? Let's tell you about it. The Lord has so many nets and vessels that are already ready today to reach hundreds and hundreds of people. It's already ready. And so this is important that you need to view the Rapture Library in context of the overall mission. There's a larger mission going on than just the library. There's a whole clinic that is going to be reaching hundreds and hundreds of people just by itself. And then we have the Rapture info kits. Lord willing, within about 15 minutes after the rapture, individuals who come who realize they've been left behind and that they should have been the wise and faithful servants, they're going to realize that there is a job to do. So they're going to take those kits, Lord willing, then go out to several destinations in this area, park, and start handing out information, particularly in areas near main thoroughfares and major roads in this area as well, at locations where people are naturally already going to be going for information that they associate with spiritual and Bible information, what's going on right now. So again, I'm painting a broader picture because I want you to see, where do the Rapture Libraries fit in? They fit into a larger work that the Lord has already prepared and is already ready. It could be put into effect today to reach hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people today. We have thousands of handouts printed up ready for distribution today. And within this outreach that the Lord has already prepared and Lord willing is already going to go out, the Rapture Library is going to take this effort and just greatly expand it well beyond that to reach thousands and thousands and thousands more in an environment that's conducive for them to make some very important spiritual decisions. This is what we're working on right now, preparing the libraries, English library, the Spanish library, and a library services equipment trailer. But this is what we're focusing on right now, keeping in mind the logistics of everything else that is going to be going on with this ministry minutes and hours after the rapture. I want you to see the Rapture Library in context of what the Lord has already planning to do. This is what we're working on. It's going to be in the midst of this huge outreach that the Lord is going to show the Rapture Libraries. And the nice thing about the Rapture Libraries is they're going to be ready to go 5 seconds after the rapture happens. They won't have to set up anything. They won't have to do anything. Just open the doors, walk right on in, and the information is right there. Lord willing, they can get the clinic up and running within about 30 minutes easily if they have just a handful of medical volunteers. They can get that up and running, and then right next to it will be the libraries with people seeking information about that. And again, in our PDF, Operation Burning Lamp, we detail why a lot of people will be coming here already. So Lord willing, you can see how just an hour after the rapture happens, right after the tribulation starts, just within an hour's time, literally hundreds and hundreds of people could be reached with material and resources already with what the Lord has prepared today, and easily doubling and tripling that by the addition of the Rapture Libraries. All within the first hour after the rapture. The first hour. And Lord willing, this is where the additional equipment trailer comes in. An equipment trailer full of beds and cots and pillows and everything they need to start setting up the clinic at another location. Lord willing, that trailer will go to one of the locations where the Rapture info kits has been set up at, and already people are going there. That equipment trailer and team will start securing the facility and start getting it ready to move the clinic to there. And Lord willing, this will happen the very first day after the rapture, because they're going to realize they can't stay at the clinic now. It's just not conducive for long term, and especially for large volumes of people. They will have to move, particularly to a church campus or school, someplace with a large parking lot, easier traffic facilities, septic facilities, larger rooms, sidewalks, and a lot more conducive for large volumes of people, and also on main thoroughfares as well. So they're going to secure the facility and start setting that up, Lord willing, very soon. And because that equipment trailer will have its own generator, they will set up work lights in the auditoriums and fellowship halls and just start working on the mechanical side of things, the maintenance side of things, making sure there's lights and trying to get some water working somewhere, getting things set up. Again, we don't know when the rapture is going to happen, whether it's going to be during the day or during the night, but pretty soon they're going to need some power coming on, and it pretty much is almost guaranteed right after the rapture the main grid is going to go down. So that maintenance team will be getting the facilities ready for large volumes of people to actually use the buildings. And then the Rapture trailer can be brought over, especially once they put out cones for the traffic areas and being able to direct people, get everything ready ahead of time. And as soon as they are ready, then the Rapture trailers can be moved over with the library services trailer. And by then they have the security and the traffic flow in place to have things a lot more organized, rooms where they could direct people for counseling, and just makes it a whole lot easier to handle large volumes of people. And Lord willing, this whole process will be done over about 72 hours. Again, the clinic is very short term. It's really not built to hold and handle massive, large amounts of people. It just can't do that. You are going to have to move. It's just primarily meant for the first triage in the first 24, 48 hours of the major casualties that are happening. Its primary purpose is to be a triage center for the casualties and mass injuries that are happening right after the rapture. The start of the sun destruction and the start of the tribulation. That's all it's meant for, that short time, until they can transfer to a larger area where they could set up a longer term clinic field hospital. So Operation Burning Lamp is not just one trailer or two trailers, it's a whole logistical operation that the Lord has already planned. And so much has already been enabled, so much is ready to roll today. Operation Burning Lamp, it is a major effort to reach hundreds and thousands of people, thousands of souls in a very important hour. Not just here in Shelby, Alabama, but our Father has prepared so many resources that you can use, that you can launch out into deep in your area and in your embassy, that can likewise reach hundreds and hundreds of people in the days ahead. But He's also showing us an incredible operation, a logistical operation to reach hundreds and thousands, literally thousands of people. It's what it's designed to do, and He is enabling it to reach thousands. And yes, you can set up resources and information in your embassies, and you should. Definitely make an effort to do that. But God has also shown us a primary operation where we can be a part of reaching thousands and thousands and thousands. And because He's making these trailers mobile, we truly do not know how far these will go. These will reach farther into the tribulation than I think we realize. Let's be a part of both. Let's be a part in our local embassy, but then let's be a part of Operation Burning Lamp, launching out into the very deep and letting down some very large nets. Praise the Lord, the other day we had some severe tornado weather here in our area, and the Lord kept us very safe. Thank you for your prayers. It is a great encouragement and strengthening knowing that my brothers and sisters in Christ were praying for us during that time. But it was definitely a very interesting time, just particularly when they had the tornado warnings right over our area. We are literally in the center of Alabama. If you draw an X through Alabama from corner to corner, we're almost directly under the X. And this confirmed tornado was on the ground heading in our direction. Praise the Lord, it went just a little north of us, just about 8 minutes from here. There's tornado damage. But as I mentioned in our community post and relayed the story there, we have a storm shelter here at the Brook Cherith. It's literally right in front of the Brook Cherith clinic there. And we had about 6 of our neighbors come over because the weather radio was telling us it's heading your way. And praise the Lord, we just got a lot of wind and a lot of rain, a lot of lightning. But it's a very powerful opportunity to talk with my neighbors as well. But then also to reflect and just see how the power of what our Father has prepared here with the Brook Cherith, a clinic, a place that's prepared. During the storm that came up, it was so reminiscent of the whole concept that we know about sun destruction's coming, prophesied it's coming with the start of the tribulation. We know a sudden destruction is coming. And likewise, the Lord pointed out to me a tornado is, in a sense, sun destruction. You can have relatively calm weather, and then a minute later, a massive tornado comes right through your house and destroys it. That's how sudden destruction can be. And then 5 minutes after the tornado passes, it is literally calm outside. My neighbor even commented on that, of how calm it was, even with the tornado heading right toward our direction, how relatively calm outside it was. It had even stopped relatively raining. And then it got really bad as it got close. But then maybe 10, 15 minutes afterwards, it was back to the same. It was calm, it stopped raining. It was very sudden, that destructive force that came through. It definitely sobered up everybody. And the Lord was pointing out these same parallels with the Brook Cherith, which is literally just a few feet away from the storm shelter. How right after the rapture, immediately after the rapture, when the sun destruction comes, the start of the tribulation, that sun destruction is going to sober up the world incredibly by the suddenness and the intensity of the destruction that comes. And it's not going to let up. But the Lord is pointing out how people are very tender in those moments, when they are sobered up, when they see that their entire world can change all of a sudden. People sober up, they're very serious-minded, but then they're also tender to talking about matters of their heart and their life that normally you don't talk about to your neighbors on that level. And so the Lord is pointing out the parallels and the importance of the Brook Cherith, the importance of having a place prepared. Because once the tribulation starts, people are going to be incredibly tender as their world is shaken up completely. And they realize it's going downhill from here. There is not going to be any relief from this point on out. People will be very tender. And there's going to be a prime opportunity to reach in the hearts and lives by a testimony of a prepared place, resources provided when people are open to realize that their entire life has been shaken. But it's only going to be for a short time. Because the more that they start seeing the tribulation events unfold in the days and hours after the sudden destruction hits, there's also going to be the danger, of course the great deception is coming, but there's the greater danger that their heart will start to harden. Start to harden to the violence that's unfolding, hardness against God even sometimes, where they will direct their anger toward God. They'll harden their heart. That's going to be one of the greatest dangers with the tribulation. It will not take people long to start hardening their heart. And so this is why it's very important to reach them in the first hours after the rapture. The first hours once the tribulation starts. Don't wait. Don't give them complicated instructions on how to set up something later on or spend hours and days setting up something once the tribulation starts. No, you're not going to have any time to do that. You have to hit and strike while the iron is hot, while their hearts are tender, because they will not be tender for very long. And that's what the Lord was really driving home with this recent situation with the sudden destruction of the tornado that came very close to us, and just the situation with the neighbors and just being able to observe their reaction and talk with them. There is going to be an incredible tenderness because of the events that will unfold prophetically. But it's only going to be for a short time. There will be an incredible opportunity. There will be a great draft of fish that are so tender, right there, so ready. They will just need someone to show them the information, just show them the call for salvation. They will be ready. They will be tender. But that draft of fish is not going to stay there for long. They are going to quickly move away. That opportunity will quickly disperse. Are we launching out our vessels? Are we letting down the nets? Do we see this opportunity that the Lord is showing us? He's acting out even with the storm shelter here at the Brook Cherith, the interactions with the neighbors, showing us the tenderness, almost a dry run of how things will go, showing us people's hearts. This is how the place will be used, to reach very tender hearts when people will have questions. My neighbors, they had questions. They opened up, and incredibly, the Lord gave great liberty. And the Lord was showing us that's the same liberty and opportunity that will be available hours after the rapture, but only for a short time. Only for a short time. Are we launching out into the deep? Are we letting down our nets? Are we preparing the nets? Are we enlarging the nets? We already know there's going to be a great draft. There's going to be so many tender hearts and souls, so many fish that are just right there for the catch. Are we launching out and letting down the nets in preparation to take advantage of what our Father is showing us? Praise the Lord, so much is coming together here at the Brook Cherith shipyard, getting ready for the trailers, the main vessels that will launch out the information, have the information ready to go, very presentable, in an environment that's conducive to keep the people there so they could read and study and ask the Lord for wisdom and what He would have them to do. So much is coming together, and it really is incredible. There's been a lot of planning, so many logistical considerations, and praise the Lord, this week we were able to get some scaffolding. We got a lot of the paint that's needed, both the inside and the outside. A lot of things are getting ready. As soon as the vessel is parked here in the shipyard, we're going to be able to get on it right away. And many of you will remember from last year when we got the generator trailer, what happened the very same day that we got the trailer parked? We were able to get most of it painted the very same day. We didn't waste any time. We were able to get painting right away because of all the staging and the pre-planning. The pre-planning and the staging of materials is highly, highly important to hit the ground running. And that's why we were able to get the laundry trailer functional and working so quickly and assembled so quickly. It's the same for the generator trailer. Because a lot of pre-planning and pre-preparation of staging and getting supplies ready all happened before the trailer actually came. The pre-planning and the preparation is so important. So definitely keep me in prayer. I need your prayers for wisdom and understanding. We're not just working on a project. Hope I've shown you we're working on an operation, an entire operation that is going to be set into motion. There are so many parts to this. It's an operation that the Lord has prepared that is going to go out. It's a mission, being sent on a mission. So definitely please keep me in prayer. All these parts work together. The clinic, the libraries, the equipment trailers, it all works together. All the parts play a part. Your part, most importantly, plays a part. Every part plays a part. And it really is incredible as we look on the timeline. And there is so much coming together right now. We've been looking at the Revelation 12 sign with the 1,260 days after that sign. That was one of the first early markers to be watching. We watched it. But like I always point out, at the very bottom we chronicle what we're doing here at the Brook Cherith. We mark things off on the calendar that we're watching, but we still go forward. We don't clock out early. We stay girded in this service, we keep our work gloves on, and we keep our lights burning. Burning. Especially the midnight oil, and so much more as we see the day approaching. There's a lot to watch here, but there's a lot of work to do too. A lot of opportunities, and especially when we look on the celestial clock right now, the sun is right at Pisces with the 2 fish. So many reminders right now. This is what our Father's looking for. He's looking for our 2 fish. What is in our hand? What can we do? Let's put it to His service. We have been redeemed. We were the fish that were redeemed. We are fishers of men. That is our job. That is our service. None of us are spectators. We all have a job to be fishers of men. Let's find ways, especially when our Father shows us where a catch is, where a vessel is that we can launch out into the deep with, and He even gives us the nets. So let's rise up. Let's launch out with what He's given us. Let's ask our Father to even expand the nets even further so we can reach more fish. More fish. So many things on the celestial and the prophetic clock right here this hour showing us this time is so important. And then we see on the ground level, of course, as I always emphasize, we see our Father working hand in hand with what He's showing us on the celestial clock, on the geopolitical clock, on the prophetic and biblical clock. It's all coming together, working in tandem here. It is so incredible. So there's the important day counts that we've been watching in connection with the Revelation 12 sign. The Bible does not give specific details about what happens at each of those markers. It just lists them out. And so that's part of the learning journey going forward. Why does it give these different day counts? What happens at each segment? What happens at each point? We don't know. So we are going to watch. That's part of being a Berean. You study and you watch. We do know, Scripture does tell us 1,260 days is associated with the woman being protected and Satan knowing his time is short. So we know that time frame is connected in here somewhere. Satan knowing his time is short is in this window somewhere. We don't know if that's counting backwards from 1,335 days or the 1,290 days. We don't know exactly how that works out. But we do know Satan will know his time is short somewhere within these windows. It is related to one of these counts. Even though the book of Revelation is somewhat vague about the details of why there are different counts given. So we just put all the counts on the table and we're going to watch them. But we're still going to keep going forward, particularly when our Father is enabling a work within this window in preparation for this window and everything He has shown us about this window and the celestial clock. We're going to go forward because our Father is preparing something incredible for this prophetic time. Something very important. So definitely review the timeline. You can find a link in the description box. Check it out every single day. The Lord reminded me here at this Passover time with the events of the crucifixion and the resurrection and later on the ascension. So much comes to mind. So much that we should have in remembrance at this time. My Lord reminded me of John chapter 14. Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. This is an incredible promise about the rapture that Jesus Christ passed on to His disciples. And we have this in the Rapture Library on our Harpazo Promise poster. How Christ told the disciples, He told us, that He is going to prepare a place. And notice how He emphasizes this 2 times. He's going to prepare a place. There is a process of preparation. There is a process of action to prepare a place. He doesn't just snap His fingers. He doesn't just say a word and it's done. No, He's going to actually prepare, build out a place in our Father's house. And one day He's going to come and take us, receive us to where He is in His Father's house. That where He is up there, we may be also. An incredible promise, but the emphasis on preparing And the Lord really drove this home here at this resurrection time, the whole idea of preparing a place. And what He's doing here with the Brook Cherith, prophetically, what He's been emphasizing and illustrating even with the recent storms, a place that God has prepared. There is a time for planning, preparation, and staging, getting things ready, a preparing process. Our Father and our Redeemer, Jesus Christ, is also in that same planning and preparation process as well. This is part of the promise for us. And so we see the same thing as He is preparing a place for us up there, but we can also see He's preparing a place down here to call more fish, to call more to be the sons and daughters of God, of our Father. He is preparing a place down here as well, and we could see His hand involved in it so well. He also reminded me of Revelation 12:6, and we've talked about this in our time countdown video, where the woman Israel, those who flee from Judea into the mountains, they're going to flee into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. 1,260 days. And it's been incredible just to see, consider everything that's coming together that our Father has shown us about the celestial clock, about the Revelation 12 sign, and a prepared place. A prepared place at a time where we are reminded of our Redeemer's promise that He is going to prepare a place as well. Now that is different than this place. This place where the Israelites that flee Judea are going to be in safety. That is a place down here on earth. But take notice of some very important details. It emphasizes she hath a place prepared of God that they should feed her there. Notice there's three different parties here. Three different parties. God is doing a work. He is the one ultimately in charge of preparing a logistical operation that will take care of those that flee from Judea once the abomination of desolation is set up. God is the one in control of orchestrating this place being prepared. The logistics, the pre-planning, the staging, it's all ready. There is a work being done ahead of time before it's actually needed. We talked about this in our time countdown video. I fully believe there is a place prepared, people working on a place even now with the logistics, the planning, the staging of a place that they know will be used in the future past. That will be this place that God has prepared. He's orchestrated it. He's had His hand on a work going on down on the ground level down here where the Israelites who flee will go. And notice it says that they should feed her. Who's her? That's Israel, those that flee from Judea. Just those Israelites, not all of them, just the ones that actually get up off their tail and actually run to the hills. They will be protected. That's why the warning is, when you see the abomination of desolation, head for the hills, run right away. Only those will be protected. But notice there's a third party. They should feed her. Now, if the Israelites are the ones who come to this place, who's the they? Apparently, they are Gentiles who have prepared this place. It could be Israelites, we don't know, but the implication is that there is a third party that God worked in their heart to prepare a place ahead of time for where these Hebrew refugees will end up. And they will feed them there in the days ahead. The staff, whoever's working there at that time, who knew about it, they are going to be part of what God is working at that time. There is a third party there. God worked in hearts. There is a preparation, there is a staging, there is a work that takes time and planning. Someone has put their hand to preparing all this stuff, getting the place ready for large volumes of people apparently. And there's also going to be workers on the ground, probably volunteers later, that will feed the refugees there at that place for 1,260 days. And this is the same time frame in connection with the celestial clock that we've been watching and keeping our eye on, while the Lord is also working here at a prepared place too. A different place that's prepared than this place, obviously, on the other side of the ocean, but we can also see God's hand that He is preparing a place for a very particular reason, to catch a large draft of fish. And friend, this is what I want you to see here at this late hour. Don't get just caught up on the celestial signs of the Revelation 12 sign. Don't just get caught up on the day counts, which we are watching. We're watching all of that. Don't just get caught up on those, but ignore how God is the one who prepares right in the midst and context of all that, of the celestial sign, of the day count, right part of that, hand in hand with that, God will be preparing a place. And He will have third parties part of preparing and staging that place. their efforts will be part of ministering in the days ahead. And that is part and parcel with the Revelation 12 sign. That is part and parcel with the day counts. That is part and parcel with the prophecy, the events that are unfolding, what our Father is working. So it should catch our attention. When the Lord has brought your path, my path, on a learning journey where we've learned about the celestial clock, we've learned about these day counts, we've learned about geopolitical events, we've learned about everything. We've learned a lot about all the other events in this passage, and then we also have a live demonstration before us and an opportunity of preparing a place. Whereas likewise, God can work in the days ahead in a supernatural way. When you continue reading in Revelation 12, verse 14, "And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time, from the face of the serpent." We talked about this in our time countdown video. The place where she is taken, it appears to be under supernatural protection, and Scripture even talks about that. There is a prepared place that people, humans, have gone through the logistics of preparing, but then God's hand is at work supernaturally protecting that place in a very unique way, where she's even protected from the face of the serpent. There is something supernatural, may even be out of time, we don't know, but there is some reason why the serpent can't even reach her at that prepared place. And she is so protected, verse 17, "And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ." Those in the prepared place are ultra protected, whereas those outside, even believers in Jesus Christ, outside that prepared place, they aren't protected to that same level. There is something unique about that prepared place, and why God told them, when you see the abomination of desolation, get up and get out of town right away. Get to that place. God will prepare the place, God will enable a way for them to get to that place, and God will protect that place. And again, friend, don't miss this with the Revelation 12 sign. Right in all the context of the constellation and astronomical events and the day counts, right in the middle of it, God says, take note, there's a place that people prepared, and that God is working at that place that has been prepared. Now the Lord also reminded me of Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." Verse 6, talking about God, we must believe that He is, and that He is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. By faith, Noah, being warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world, and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. A prepared place. That is the theme that we see here. A prepared place in context of things that we've been warned about. Prophetic things with the tribulation, the sun destruction that's coming. We've been warned about them, but none of us have seen them. Likewise, Noah was forewarned. He was foretold of sun destruction that was coming. And he moved with action. He moved with demonstrated faith. A substance to his faith. It wasn't just head knowledge, it was a substance. There was substance, a tangible substance to what he believed. He put it into action. And because of what he knew, head-wise, about what was coming, that he could not see yet, he prepared an ark to the saving of his house. That's the whole reason why he went through the planning and the logistics and the staging and the building, preparing the ark for one goal, to the saving of his house. Hebrews 11 is the hall of faith, and so many examples of people who put their faith into action. There was a substance, there was a tangible element to their faith. They acted on their faith. They went forward in faith. Noah was warned about things he had never seen before, but he moved. He put himself into action based on what God said. And it led to a certain chain of events that the Lord blessed. And we're still reading and talking about it even today, thousands of years later. Noah prepared a place at a time when judgment was coming on the whole world. Prophetically, friend, we are at the same scenario. We have been forewarned of God that judgment is coming upon the face of the whole earth. We have also been told that there's going to be great tenderness of hearts. There's going to be a great draft of fish. There's going to be so many people. In those first few hours, we've been shown that yes, there will be great opportunity for the saving of souls. But it will be a short opportunity. You will have to act quickly. A great deception is coming. Men's hearts will be hardened as they see things unfold. Are we acting on what we know and have been forewarned about on the celestial clock, on the geopolitical clock? Are we preparing actions to reach those tender hearts, to reach those tender souls? Friends, this is the crux of what the Lord is working here at this late hour. preparing, pre-planning, pre-staging, preparing a place for the saving of souls in the days ahead. To reach out to hundreds and thousands of souls in the days ahead. Our Father is preparing a place. And the invitation is given to you, friend, to be a part of preparing that place, where you can play a part in ministering to thousands and thousands of souls. Friend, we do not know the full impact of how the Lord will use what He's already prepared. But we can get a glimpse, we can get a hint of what He is already going to do. We can also understand that just like in the Revelation 12 scenario that He paints for us and tells us will happen, He will work supernaturally on top of what people have prepared. The preparations that they had planned and staged and put together, God on top of that protected it. And likewise, friend, it's not a stretch to have that same expectation when we see the same Father who's preparing that work there. We also see Him preparing a work here to also have that same expectation. Like we talked about in our time countdown video. We should have the expectation God is going to work supernaturally with what we place into His hands. We go as far as we can, just like Noah. We go as far as we can. We ask our Lord for wisdom and strength and liberty to accomplish what we can. And then we put it into His hand to take care of what we can't. Noah did what he could, but he had to trust the Lord to keep the ship from falling apart and keep them safe during the storms and all that. God did His part when Noah did his part. And likewise, friend, we should have the expectation that God is going to do a lot more than we expect or understand when we go forward with our part. He calls us to launch out into the deep and to let down your nets. That's our part. He will take it from there. He didn't tell the disciples to go whistle for fish or something, or put down lures for the fish, or put out bait for fish. He just told them, launch out into the deep, let down your nets. I've already taken care of the fish where they're going to be. I'm going to take care of that part. You just take care of the part of getting there and getting the nets into place. I'll make sure the fish get into the nets. And same for us, friends. This is what we're focused on right now. Getting the vessels ready, getting the nets ready. We're preparing the vessels to launch out. We're preparing the nets. We're enlarging the nets because we know they will be launched out. We know they will be let down. We know they will be let down into a great draft of fish. And we're going to leave it in His hand, the outcome, when we go forward, putting substance to our faith. Our faith of seeing Him work now, but also trusting how He will work in the days ahead. We have so many reminders right now, even on the celestial clock, about 2 fish. Reminds us that we are fish. We are redeemed fish when we put our faith and trust in Jesus Christ. We become fishers of men. That is our job. That should be our desire, to offer the living water to more fish, to bring in more fish for our Father's kingdom, to bring more sons and daughters into the family of God. That should be our heart's cry, and we have so many reminders right now in context of the Revelation 12 sign, the countdown. The celestial heavens are right now emphasizing the fish right in the celestial sea. Right on either side with Aquarius, the water bearer pouring out the living water. On the other side, Aries, the lamb, reminding us of the lamb that was slain on our behalf. And the more we reflect here at this resurrection time, how the lamb was slain on our behalf, we should have the same heart's desire as our bridegroom to offer the living water to others. And friend, this is the opportunity that the Lord enables us. He shows us. And friend, let's go forward together. All our Father asks of us is our 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And when we put that into His hand, He can multiply that incredibly. And it has been our privilege to see how He has done that thus far here as we have launched out with what we can, as we've let down the nets as we can. He has already multiplied it above and beyond what we've ever imagined when we started. We're not just on a learning journey. We are on a journey of opportunity. A journey that calls us to put substance, tangible substance to our faith, what we believe, what we say we believe. Are we acting on it? That's part of the journey. Are we going forward step by step on this journey? Are we actually going anywhere? Are we doing anything that the Lord can use? Are we putting anything into His hand? Putting into our Lord's hands what is in the power of our hand. Putting it into His hand for His service. And so, friend, I want to invite you here at this time when we have so many reminders of preparing a place. The same promise given out around the crucifixion and resurrection time. Reminding us also on the celestial clock of the 2 fish. Reminding us also of the Revelation 12 and the prepared place there. As we consider the celestial clock and the Revelation 12 sign and the countdowns associated with that, let's not forget, let's not overlook God's hand in preparing a place right in the midst of that very same account. The same account. And we see Him doing a similar work now, preparing ahead of time. in context of it all. And friend, I want to invite you, be a part of what our Father is working. He has shown us everything else. Let's be a part of what He is showing us. Let's be a part of this prophetic time. Let's be a part of the prophetic opportunities. Every part plays a part. Be a part. Definitely download Operation Burning Lamp. You can find a link for the PDF in the description box. Also be sure to review the timeline. There's also a link in the description box. Friend, when our Father has shown us so much about the celestial time and the geopolitical time and the biblical prophetic time, we have no excuse. So we should not be making excuses. Let's go forward faithfully, step by step. We have heard the trumpet call at midnight. The bridegroom cometh. Go ye out to meet Him. That's the call. Are we responding to the call? Are we putting substance to what we believe about the call? Let's go forward faithfully, girded in His service, shining bright, with no regrets. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together as the manner of some is, but exhorting, inviting, imploring one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching. We see the day approaching. We see so much in the heavens, in the news, in Scripture, and here on the ground level right in front of us. We see the day approaching. We see we are short on time. So let's rise up. Let's trim our lamps, and let's redeem the time, going out to meet the bridegroom, hearing Him, heeding Him, loving Him, and serving Him first and highest above all else, launching out into the deep and letting down our nets till He comes. Maranatha!